It's Purp back with another episode of the Purp Show. This is the Purp Show, season 4, episode 3, the Stranger Things season 4 discussion, or Stranger Things 4 discussion. We're just gonna, just talk about volume 1 and 2 and just the overall season and just give our thoughts and uh, other things. It's gonna be a Stranger Things filled episode. So if you're checking this out, on the premiere or whenever you check it out, make sure you hit one of these three buttons or hit all three of these buttons. It'd be dope. Hit that like button, hit that share button, and also hit that super thanks where, what I'm saying, you can support the channel, you can donate or whatnot through that. So, what I'm saying? Yeah, with that being said, I always like to kind of start with my letterbox rankings, and we definitely have some new movies entering the list. And Thor: Love and Thunder will be uh, on this list, but you got to wait till like episode 4 to find out where that will be ranked amongst the other movies, pretty much. But also, I have a special guest with me, the Black Guru. Welcome.
What's up?
Yep, yep. I didn't want to get too many people because it's just like I didn't want to like sit here and be talking for like 3 fucking hours and just on just one thing. I'm saying that'll definitely happen. But yeah, I'm gonna go through this letterbox real fast. Also, I might as well put this out there. Next month will be the the 5th anniversary of the channel. Noting that know exactly what date. It might be the day August 20th. That would be the day. That's the day I started my channel 5 years ago. But
Okay.
yeah, we'll wait. Just wait for more information on exactly what date. It might be sometime before, or maybe a little bit after the actual anniversary date. Depends on schedule and who I can get on and stuff like that. But just figure I put that out there. So let's get through this letterbox. My bottom 20, like I guess would you say bottom 20, from 21 to like 30. So you got Men, Flatface, Choose or Die, Crimes of the Future, the Catwoman movie, Morbius. It's Morbid time. Night's End, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, uh, Jurassic World Dominion, and now Terror on the Prairie. If you have a hard time sleeping, you have trouble sleeping, make sure you watch Terror on the Prairie because that'll carry that shit up, bro. Because just that movie, boy, seeing the cap on that movie, like I was looking at different reviews and stuff and looking at the cap on that movie, it's just like it's crazy. It's like, bro, this movie is not good whatsoever. The editing is janky, but anyways, it's not about Terror on the Prairie. I got a review, you can check that out. Um, but if you do want to go check out the actual movie Terror on the Prairie, they uploaded the whole movie on YouTube, so you can go check that out. So, um, so that's like my bottom of my list, and then we get into like the mid tier. Where the fuck did hold up? I'm missing one. Give me a second. This is pretty much my mid tier. I knew I forgot something though. I forgot my the top 10 or top 12. Um, I'll put that up soon. Give me a second. But yeah, this is like pretty much all my like the mid, like my mid, the middle of the road type of, like these are enjoyable films, like they're watchable, but it's just it is what it is. These are mostly like one time type of views. You know what I'm saying? Got Watcher, the Beavis and Butthead movie, Top Gun, and Spiderhead. Top Gun, Maverick, and Spiderhead were directed by the same person, and that's why they're that close to each other. Because it, like, the more I think about that movie, the more it just makes sense that I put it right there. Top Gun was cool. I just think it was a little. It's definitely overrated. It's definitely an overrated ass movie. But it is what it is. Then we get into the top 12, which will be, is that 12? Yeah. Okay, I was just counting because like, yeah. So this is my top 12 right here. Stuff. My top five has not changed yet. I don't think it's gonna change for a minute. Um, I moved Black Phone up like one spot. That's in number six. I saw that just recently again for the second time. I thought it was a dope second watch. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my letterbox right now. And like I said, each episode I want to kind of show my letterbox off and just see how it kind of changes over time. And with more movies, I might add the other movies that I reviewed, but I didn't put them on the list because they didn't like, because it has to be a movie that like came out in 2022, and just if it was made in 2021, came out in 2022, I count it as 2022. Or if it came out in 2021 and came out in 2021, but it only released it. Anyways, pretty much I might add those movies somewhere down the line, maybe. We'll see. But that's just my update, the update on my letterbox. So let's get into what people wanted to check out. Here is the Stranger Things for discussion, and what a season this has been. It's been crazy. Like the marketing has been wild. You have all these posters and stuff. I just think the build up to the season has been really dope. As far as just them getting before the show even came, season started. I think the marketing has just been really good, and just them deciding to split up the season and releasing volume one, was it back in like a month ago, and now releasing volume two was really smart because they had a whole month to just build up anticipation for the final like two episodes. And you also got shout outs to this artist, Billy Butcher. You know what I'm saying? He's been making all these dope ass posters. Did you see the Papa
Hmm.
one?
Oh yeah, I seen it
Yeah, I wanted to get the. I wish he would have put out the ninth one because I'm curious to see what that's gonna be one. But like, I think the Papa one's like my favorite right now. Like that should look correct. That shit looks dope. I think they should bring him back to like do some season five shit. Like just have him doing
for
the season
sure.
five promo and stuff like that because these posters are really dope, really fucking dope. So let's get into it. So we got volume one and volume two. I guess we could start with volume one, then work our way to volume two. It's kind of like the reintroduction of just our characters and stuff, and seeing where they're at compared to like after season three, because everybody's pretty much splintered or just split off from each other. You know what I'm saying? And Eleven's in California, um, living her best life, but not really. Mike, she's like still keeping in contact with Mike and stuff like that. Jonathan's met a new friend, Argyle. We got like a introduction to a bunch of new characters: Christy, Vecna,
Mm.
uh, Eddie. I think Eddie was definitely like obviously like the biggest one, the biggest like introduction as far as new characters go, next to like Vecna. But yeah, I like the first episode because like it was a good, you know, like welcome back type of episode. If that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel about volume one as a whole?
I think volume one was um, very well paced. I think they did a good job of hitting the high notes. I think that episode five was probably the slowest out of all of them,
Hmm.
but I think all of them felt very rich as far as what was going on, and you got time to explore these different locations that all of the characters were in. So volume one did a great job, especially between episodes 4 and 7, really flooding that momentum into volume two.
Yeah. Now, do you think it would you could have seen them just what if volume one ended with episode six, where you saw Steve getting bit up by the bats and stuff like that, and then we volume two, or you think that it just worked the way that they put it out?
Yeah, I think you need Vecna's story to really end off Volume One, because the thing about the Vecna story and the massacre at Hawkins is we finally get the story about what happened at Hawkins. You know, all these years later, we finally get the story about what happened there. So I think that's the payoff for this 7 episode investment of season 4, volume 1, is to get that story about what really happened at Hawkins.
Right, right, right. And then like you have 11 going through a huge character arc this season as well. Her and Mike not really she's not really kind of like she's continuously like doubting herself and just kind of like trying to refine herself, and because she doesn't have her powers anymore, she has to deal with these bullies. Um Dealing with Angela, which she's definitely like she would definitely I don't know if she would be like a Stephen King bully because them Stephen King bullies are kind of like savage, but she kind of gives me like Regina George kind of vibes. You know what I'm saying? But then she got her face split open with that skate, and she deserved that shit. She deserved more than that, but what I'm saying. And I was thinking in that moment, what if like 11 just killed somebody like that? Like that'd have been another big problem. But glad she just hit her at least once. I was thinking
Hmm.
she was gonna go ham on her with that skate and just like beat her till within an inch of her life type stuff. But yeah, man, it was yeah, man. I really liked the first 7 episodes that we got, and I said like yeah, like episode 5 is definitely the weakest. It's not a bad episode. It's just like the weakest out of it. Now watching it like multiple times, then we get the last 2 episodes, or like the last episode where we get the kind of origin, a little bit of a backstory of one slash Henry slash Vecna,
Hmm.
um, which is interesting to me. And it was really dope how they kind of placed it, because like they kind of teased it in episode 5, because episode 5, even though it's the weakest, it's still important because that's when we first kind of see his character. And just once he mentioned like the story about one and stuff, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get into some shit right now. And I didn't think at that moment that he had something to do with Vecna, but as it like started to get more unraveled and stuff,
Hmm.
it was like okay, now the pieces are starting to come together, and then you get to see his mind state where it feels like uh he's superior to the human race in a way. Like he just he wants to be a predator type of character, something like that. He just I don't know. He just thinks he's larger than life. But that's fascinating to me because it almost if you really look at 11 and 1 are really like Magneto and Professor X in a lot of ways.
You think so?
Because like I would say he's sort of like Magneto, because well I'm saying like if Magneto was like just pure evil type shit, like he just didn't care, like what I'm saying, like even though Magneto does bad things, like but he just does it for his kind, like him wanting to just him thinking that he's like the dominant race and stuff like that, and
Hmm.
just it's kind of interesting, and him wanting 11 to kind of and him kind of like somewhat I wouldn't say aiding, but assisting 11 with certain things, with like kind of tapping into that power and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and just how all these events that led up from the first season till now is all because of 11, and we're definitely going to talk about volume 2 because there's definitely some controversial things, but I've like really been starting to think about certain things, and I've seen like rumblings going around, or just like certain theories that people may have, or just what they possibly are setting up, but which has got me really thinking that season 5 is gonna definitely be, as far as the tone goes, I think it'll be much darker than this one. Um, but yeah, with that said, let's hop over right into volume 2, because I think volume 2 was really fucking dope, man.
Hmm.
I really like the Papa episode, just like and like the dualities between like Brenner and just Hopper and whatnot. Um, but yeah, like we had a bunch of storylines going back to like volume 1. We had the whole Joyce going to look for Hopper, going to save Hopper, and Hopper being stuck in Russia. You know what I'm saying? It seems like across the board that storyline is like everybody's like weakest part of the season.
I think I know
Um,
why too.
yeah, yeah. And when we were talking about that the other night, I was like, "Yo, we could have cut that up a little bit. You could have just I would have said like you could cut the whole Joyce and Murray thing, and just have it be Hopper trying to escape Russia. I think that would have been better.
I mean, I feel like it's a it's a necessary evil because, like I was
Mm,
suggesting, Hopper should be dead. He should have died at the end of season 3, and that's my biggest complaint coming out of season 4 altogether. Is it seems as if Stranger Things doesn't like to kill off its main characters, unlike
mm-hmm,
a Walking Dead or Game of Thrones or some other shows we've seen go there. Stranger Things tends not to want to go there, so they'll effectively kill you on screen, but they'll bring you right back. And the fact that they brought Hopper back creates this whole Russian narrative in the plot that feels unnecessary and forced. And it's because Hopper's existence at this point is unnecessary and forced. Now, let me be clear. I love
mm-hmm.
Hopper. I love Hopper. I'm glad he's back. I wish they, would have never killed him or whatever. But the reality is he died at the end of season 3, or that's how it was depicted to end his character. But now he's back, kind of taking up a third of the season with this Russian shit where they're basically escaping and then they break back in. So we
Mm-hmm.
spend the whole first half watching them escape the prison for them to go, oh, you know what? We can't get home yet. We got to go back in. So then they go back in. And
Yeah,
I think
I
all of
like.
that is just a convoluted runaround to do something with a character that actually shouldn't exist at this point anymore.
Yeah, I think Murray it like depicted that the best. Like he's like, we just broke out of this prison. You want to go back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, but yeah, they just had to give them something to do, and no, I can appreciate it at the same time. Like they don't want to just make every character, because I know that like they just, I don't know if you know this, but they actually had to kind of switch some things up. That episode they were at the skating ring, that was supposed to be Will's birthday, but the Duffer Brothers forgot, so they
They
had to kind
forgot,
of like,
yeah.
yeah, they had to, you know what I'm saying? But that's a little thing, but yeah, I would say like that for me is the weakest part is like, even though it was cool, it was like, I guess it was for the comedic relief type stuff. It was the whole Joyce and Murray stuff. I didn't really care. I didn't really have necessarily a problem with what they were doing with Russia in Russia with like Hopper's character and stuff like that. It was like the whole Joyce thing kind of like was super over the top, but it's Stranger Things, so it's like you gotta expect that. Like in season 3, they had like a knockoff Terminator, so it's like
So what
they
you mean by Joyce being over the top?
no, I'm saying that whole storyline being
Oh
kind of
yeah,
over
that
the
whole
top. Yeah,
storyline. It's just
yeah,
unnecessary. It just it just like none of it really matters to the greater Vecna arc of what's going on. Like none of it is important to the Vecna arc. All
hmm
of it is happening at the same time as the Vecna arc, but none of it is actually important to it. Oh, we're gonna
hmm
help kill the Demigorgons over here, and hopefully that helps them back there. Oh real strong plan.
hmm and I think with like the whole introduction to Eddie and just what they have him doing was pretty interesting, as well, as far as like you had this character Christy that dies in her apartment because not an apartment but the trailer park thing, whatever, in the
Mm-hmm.
trailer. And that's all because Christy was trying to get to sleep, or she needed to get her mind off of things because Vecna was messing with her, or cursed her, whatever the hell. And now like they're on this witch hunt for Eddie, and that kind of brings in Lucas's story. And I like that they kind of they did more with Lucas in this season compared to other seasons, and really giving his character a moment to like shine and stuff. And that's what's really dope about it, because like everybody up until this point throughout the series has had a moment, had their moments and stuff like that. Mike's had their moments. Will's have his whole storyline and stuff for like 2 seasons, and it's cool to kind of see them juggle all these different storylines, even though some of them are gonna hit, but some won't. I just think I think it's fascinating how they're able to like kind of execute some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like just the like a I would say probably another negative for me. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I don't like other than the Joyce and Murray stuff like that. Everything else was okay for me.
Well, for me, it's Max. Max's revival, her resurrection. It's almost
Mhm.
like the passing of the Christ. I mean, for me, I keep pulling my hair out about why they just didn't kill Max. And not that I want Max dead. I want to be clear. It's not that I want Max dead, but the story demanded that she die for the fourth gate to open. Um, and for Vecna's curse to bleed over into Hawkins. Well, that's
I
fine, but to have her die to allow that to happen, but to then bring her right back to life to even to a vegetable state, right? Because we see her
mm,
basically in a vegetable state, which is appropriate, right, as far as the plot goes. But the characters don't have to deal with the death of Max. They don't have to deal with the weight of Max being dead, and now there's a portal smack dab in the middle of Hawkins.
but now I like that you said that because like one of the theories, and I think Butch mentioned this like last night too. Shouts to Butch. You know what I'm saying? That or I think or it might have been Brad, but like I think what happened with like the whole Max situation, right, is that the portal did open, but because she got brought back, it kind of suspended that, and I think that's gonna be a plot thing, like a plot going into season 5, where it's just like either Vecna already took her or something like that, or what I'm saying, or she's just like, because we don't know where she is, because she went 11 went into the astral plane and she should be there, her
Mm-hmm.
spirit's not there, so it's like, is that the consequences of trying to bring her back, is that now her soul is lost, and that makes it an easy and that's another theory, that it's like it makes it her body an easy target to be possessed or used by Vecna. And I think that's another thing that's interesting, is the certain characters that we're seeing die. I think that they could possibly definitely come back in this way, where Vecna could kind of use those people to his advantage. Like he can mess around with you could definitely see a case where Will might end up turning to be the next bad guy or something like that, because Vecna's whole body's messed up, so he's probably going to have to need a new vessel,
Mm.
and he's already had that connection to Will, and so that'd be an interesting kind of dynamic to do with his character. So that's where I can kind of see them, what they're doing, you know, just like as a speculation, but we'll have to wait and see. Because I think that's the best case scenario. Because we're talking about, like, yeah, you've got like 16 characters still around, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
But
ridiculous.
like I said, it's just like, if he's bringing the whole army, you're gonna need as many people as possible, and then you start chopping them down left and right and stuff like that. Because Mike's never seen Vecna's power, so like that'd be a really dope thing to see in season 5, seeing like him talking to Will or something, and like Will ends up turning to like Vecna or something like that, and just messing around. That's like talking to Mike, something like that. I could just see them kind of bringing back some of these dead characters like Eddie to like mess with like somebody like Dustin
Mm-hmm. I can
and
see
stuff
that.
like that.
Yeah, I can see that. That actually makes a lot of sense.
They'd be like kind of sort of like pretty much like undead or something like that.
I
Because
mean, we
we saw,
seen that with Billy when
yeah,
he was using Billy to mess with Max.
yeah,
And let's talk about that for a second, bro.
yeah, but
Max's scene where she had to basically confess how she felt about Billy and how she felt about herself
mm,
was just so fantastic. It really, on the second watch, it really showed me that Max is a quintessential linchpin character of Stranger Things. Like, she's
mm,
as important to this show as anybody else on it. Her emotional depth um over the seasons. We've met this girl back in season 2, and we watched her kind of deal with
bro.
these emotion. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. we watched her deal with these emotions over the 3 years, and now we see her finally have to deal with them and confess them herself in an attempt to try to save everybody. It was just so well done. It was just one of the most
Mm.
fantastic things about season 4.
And would you say like Max and Eleven kind of have a lot of things in common? Is that why they probably get along as well?
I
Like they
think
kind
that
of like clicked.
I think they click. I think they do have a lot of things in common because they kind of have a lot of drama and a lot of trauma in their in their minds and in
Family,
their
yeah, and like
yeah.
family side, yeah.
hmm And I think they click on that because they're both kind of weirdos. They're both kind of outcasts, if you will, and they
Mm,
click on that. And I think that you know, even beyond Mike, Max may be Eleven's best friend.
yeah,
Like she
most
likes
definitely.
Mike and she likes the crew, but I think personally, it seems as if she's closer to Mike. I mean, closer to Max than
Yeah, Max
everybody
is like
else.
kind of like that sister, like that, like sister or twin sister or something like that. So
hmm
yeah, that's pretty cool for them. Yeah, Max has been incredible this season, and just what they've done with her character, and just her and Lucas just been crazy. Like that shit, it's crazy. I would have never thought like they would have got to this point, and um just seeing the growth in all these characters, not literally, but but just seeing them from like season one till now, it's just like they have really picked a great cast of like characters to come together because they haven't really missed a beat. It's like they've already been friends like for like their whole entire life, so just everything on the screen just comes off natural and stuff.
hmm
Nothing really feels out of place. Um, you know what I'm saying? And one of my favorite moments, you know, in this was the reuniting of Hopper and Eleven because I really love that shit in the end of season three when she's reading that letter and stuff like that. And that was a and they were playing the same music too when they reunited stuff. That really hit me. And that whole last like I guess 2 minutes or something like that where everybody's coming back together. I think that I really feel like that's going to be like the last happy moment
hmm
for at least a minute because I think with the with season five because they're saying it's going to be a time skip and all that and I could see it I could see it ending where I think most of the character I think our main four characters will still be around. Maybe 11 might die. Um, I don't. I don't see. I could see Hopper actually dying too because he was always talking about like I'm gonna die one day, but not today.
hmm
you know, because because I wonder if like that's how it's gonna end. Like, or are we gonna see Joyce and Hopper go on that date that they were talking about and stuff like that?
Yeah, I
And
kind of want to see them go on that date though. They didn't built it up so much.
yeah, it's crazy.
I would
And
hate for him to die and they never go on that date to Enzo's.
yeah. That should be crazy if like what I'm saying. Because I was thinking it's like, yo, that would have been dope for them to end the season like that, but it's just like, nah, they got bigger problems to worry about. They can't go to dinner right now.
hmm
So then we got Eddie's death, which was a pretty big one. A lot of people are kind of mad at the death of brothers, like just in a playful way and stuff. Or just I knew they were gonna riot if Steve died and stuff. Like a lot of people was worried that Steve was gonna die. Um, Never say never though. That's going to be another thing. I think that's going to be interesting with the whole Nancy stuff and Jonathan and Steve. Because I like that love triangle, even though they didn't really do much with Jonathan's character this season. I think it's all going to come back full circle. Like what I'm saying, like with Will and stuff. I think Will will be a more prominent character, a much more important character, especially for
But
the last
Mike,
season.
the thing with that though is Mike
Mm.
kind of seems different now with the pot smoking and all of that.
You
He
mean
doesn't
Jonathan?
seem Jonathan, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems different now than he did back when he was the guy, the camera, the nerd with the camera taking pictures. Now he's
hmm
like the pot smoker hanging. So he's kind of a different guy. Like he's
Yeah.
kind of growing in a different direction. And I can see Nancy kind of gravitate more towards Steve because they've been going
Yeah.
through it, back and forth in the upside down and all of that. I think she need to go ahead and just break up with Jonathan, give him the Dear John letter, and say, "Hey, it's over with."
Dear
You know
child.
what I mean? You're out. Steve is in. Steve's back
You,
in. I mean,
I think at the end she wanted to say something, but then like kind of like move the goalpost. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, because
Because
she
like,
thought about it, and he was like, "We cool," and she was like, "Yeah."
yeah,
As soon as he thought that, he should already know, like, "Hey, you ain't got much longer with this girl, pal."
yeah. And it's interesting. It's just like and like even with Jonathan talking to Will and stuff, like I feel like it was like that kind of realization. It's just like, man, I've really just been kind of out of touch. Like I've just been like I kind of just pretty much gave up on shit. Just gave up on college and all that stuff. You're not really even trying and all that stuff, and
Hmm.
getting disconnected with his brother and stuff like that a little bit. So it's an interesting direction they're going to take. And I wonder. Like, I'm pretty sure that I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they should introduce any new characters in season 5 like that we haven't seen already. What
No,
you
we
think
already
about
got
that?
enough damn characters,
Yeah,
more
yeah,
than enough.
yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see what direction they go. Yeah, man, it's just been a fantastic. I was just telling my friend. I was just talking to my friend about this. He was like, he fell off after season 2. I was like, no, bro, just go catch up and go on this shit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought season 2 was kind of whack, so I kind of fell out too. But I didn't think that they would take such a aggressive approach as far as their marketing and everything like that. Like they've really marketed this season incredibly. And like I've seen pop up shops inside the mall. I was at the mall on Saturday. They had a pop up shop there, a Stranger Things store. I didn't know what the hell was in there, but it was a line around the corner. Um,
crazy.
like you showed me the video with the Surfer Boy pizza being
Mm.
available. I mean, they really had a plan on how they wanted to attack and market this show, and really kind of
It
catapulted into the national consciousness.
it literally it even got to a point where I think after Volume 1 came out, I saw. This was nasty though, but they literally made a demigorgon fleshlight.
Oh wow, that's weird. Who made
Like,
that? Some weirdo.
I some weird company or whatever, it was sex toy company or whatever. Like,
That's
I was
weird,
just
but
like,
damn.
that's just crazy. And like even like where you have people taking pictures, like they'll have like it looks cheap as hell, but it's like kind of effective. They have like these people in the hazmat suits, and like there's like these little gates opening. The gates look real cheap and stuff, but it's just like just for promotion and stuff. Like,
Hmm.
what I'm saying? They had the Empire State Building. Had that shit going for it. With 11, that was cool. Yeah, it's just like they were really marketing this shit like this was the
Hmm.
final season. A lot of people thought this was like the final season,
It
which makes
kind
me.
of gives us a heads up as far as what's to come because
Hmm.
I mean it should be pretty crazy as far as what that final season's marketing budget is going to be.
Yeah, if they go twice as crazy with this, like that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I don't expect them to. So we've been talked about this like as far as um the release date for season 5. I don't think we're gonna have to wait that long. They'll probably get it written by like next year or something like that. We'll probably take some time off this month, like this year, for the rest of this year. Take their little vacation and it's back to work next year. And then we'll probably get it by like the fall. I like Stranger Things releasing in the summer though. I think it's
Hmm.
definitely like a summer type of show. Um, but even if they wanted to kind of get closer to like Halloween or something like that, that'd be cool too. Uh, yeah. So didn't would you like to speak about the women of Stranger Things?
Yes, I would because one of the more interesting things I've noticed about Stranger Things season 4 is that the women of the show have taken over the prominent characterizations on the show, from 11 to Max to Nancy to Erica to Robin. They're kind of at the forefront as far as action and delivering a lot of the final blows and being very quintessential to the story. Now, what's interesting is that this show started off with 4 male characters, essentially. Um, and the show was about its male characters. So to see it go from a male dominated story, a young boys, dominated story, to a female dominated story, the transition was completely flawless. What's interesting is you have female characters at the top of this show, all over the top of this show, but you don't hear people complaining about it being woke, about it being pandering, or anything of that nature. And mainly because it was such a great fluid transition between the original story that was male dominated and the story we have today. So I just find that interesting that you have a show that's full of women at the top of it that you don't hear people calling woke and using all those sort of euphemisms to describe the show.
Yeah, it got a really strong female cast, and like they're all pretty damn dope. Even little fine ass Miss Wheeler and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Mike's mom and shit. I was like, is she looking all right? Like, she's like, yeah, dude, is she a little milf and shit, like a little cougar?
Yeah,
you know,
she's definitely a Kruger.
that's still one theory that I'm still on the fence about. They did nothing with her character in this season, but I'm still putting it up there that like she might be an undercover somehow, some way. She might know more than she's putting off, because it's just weird that they gave her a character poster, but it might just not be nothing. It might not be nothing. It might be another Mephisto.
Yeah, gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, but it'd be crazy. I think that it just had to make sense. You know what I'm saying? It just had to make
Yeah,
sense.
my thing is my overall take on Stranger Things Volume 4. It's so awesome. Like, it was so great. I mean, the Eddie Munson rock out on top of the fucking trailer is really growing on me as a
Yeah,
quintessential moment of this season. Like, him rocking out on top of the trailer was just so dope. I'm not even a big metal fan or anything like that, but I absolutely love that moment. Like, it made me like metal. Like, it made me like
for
metal for some reason. So
that little bit of time.
yeah, just in general, like, all of a
Yeah,
sudden my YouTube is suggesting Guns N' Roses and all that shit. So
that's
what I'm saying? But
crazy.
I'm listening to it like hell,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
find it to be fantastic. So Eddie Munson did a great job. The Hellfire shirts were so dope. I see a lot of people wearing those. I gotta get
yeah. I
me
need to
one
get me
because
one. Yeah,
they're fucking
but
dope.
by season 5, I definitely gotta get my merch up. Yeah, like
Yeah, I
I
gotta
need to
get my
get
merch together. Yeah.
I need to get some of those. I want to get one of each of one of those posters that's on their
hmm
shop and stuff. Like I need to get those framed up. Those are
Yeah, those
nice.
posters are crazy. So I say all that to say this. I don't
Mm,
have too many negative things to say about the show, if at all any. But the criticism I do have is the reason why I have the show, the season, at like an 8.5 and not a 9.5, where I would emotionally like to put the show. And
mm,
that's namely because I do feel like there was some missed opportunities with the writing in a couple of key areas. One, we already talked about the decision to bring Max back to life. I feel like that comes from the corporate or the studio. I feel like the Duffer Brothers didn't necessarily intend for that to happen, but it's the result of maybe Max being a popular character. I don't know, but it just seems so out of place. But the other thing that I had an issue with, um, that I wish was done better, was Hopper and Elle's reunion. I think it was good because we all anticipated it happening,
mm.
and it was a very beautiful moment. But I think you could
It just kind of
dramatize that
happened.
moment. Yeah, it just kind of happened. And I think
Mm,
you could dramatize the weight of that moment even more because she believes her father to be dead. Um, or she knows he's missing. She may believe he's Philly's still alive, but he's missing, so forth and so
mm,
on. but I think you can dramatize that moment a hell of a lot more um, than how it was depicted. So, but that's more on the nitpicky side because I think they still
That's fair.
did good.
That's a fair critique. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I just feel like there's little bitty things that it's like, I wish I just would have kind of did that a little bit better. But I mean, all in all, the things they got right, they got super right,
Mm.
and I'm not tripping on it. So I'm a Stranger Things fanatic at this point, and I need a bunch of merch at this point. Um, they play running up the hill out like they played that song to the nth degree. But I
Yeah,
absolutely love it. Like they made people love Kate Bush all over again, which is crazy.
yeah, man. That's good for her too. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Like, and that goes into the whole marketing like that. That shit's all over TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point where Spotify's telling you like, oh yeah, they'll make a list for you, like based off of the stuff that you listen to.
Hmm.
Like they'll make a list, they'll generate a list like, oh, this is the playlist that would save your life if Vecna was after you and stuff. That shit's cool. And I feel like they should do this. They should definitely do it more. You know, kind of just make it feel like like how the upside down's crossing over. Have
Hmm.
like it feel like Stranger Things, and maybe that's what they're going for. Make it like seem like Stranger Things is actually crossing over to the real world type shit. Like
That's dope. But that's
yeah,
dope. That is so dope. Yeah, they did such a great job. I mean, we haven't seen big rollouts like this since like Star Wars, and
yeah,
Star Wars normally gets big rollouts like this where they get cereal boxes and shirts and like they're everywhere. And Stranger Things attempted this season to establish themselves that way. I believe they were successful. So the next time around, it's going to be chaos. Like Stranger Things is going to completely dominate in a commercial fashion, which I'm
hmm,
happy for that because we need new things to enter into that space. You know, it can't always be Star Wars and Marvel.
right,
You know, now we have a new conglomerate, IP conglomerate that enters into that space. So I'm very proud of Stranger Things.
yep, yep, yep. It should be people should take notes. Disney looking at you. You know, even Amazon, even though Amazon is doing good with the boys and stuff like that. Um, they gotta do more. They just gotta do
Hmm.
more. And I think and that's why I said it's gonna be interesting to see what happens after Stranger Things as far as like where television is at that point. Because I know what Netflix their next like big show is gonna be Squid Game and stuff like that. So I hope they put in the same. They should put the same amount of like care into that. You know, because it's like it became one of their biggest shows. So don't just like you have these big IPs or like people or IPs that people really like. Put the money behind it. Put the money behind Cobra Kai and stuff. Put the money behind
Hmm.
what I'm saying your big flagship shows and stuff and whatnot. Um, but yeah, before we close things out though, we had like four big main characters introduced: Enzo, Eddie, Argyle, and Vecna.
Okay.
Which one's your favorite?
I think Vecna is kind of the easy answer
Mm.
um, because he's so quintessential to the story. He is the story. So I'll set
Mm.
Vecna to the side. Well, let me talk about his character introduction. Um, I think he was introduced in a very excellent way. I think his character design is very great. The world, his Freddy Krueger kind of illusion with his hand and everything like that. I think his actor who plays him, the human version of him, does a great job. So I think overall, the entire Vecna presentation was great. There's something I don't like about his suit around his waist for some reason. It's right around his waist. If you ever look at Vecna's how Vecna looks, right around his
Yeah, a lot of
waist,
people have been roasting him. Like they say he looked like the Grinch. He's like built like the Grinch.
yeah, it's like the Grinch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish they would have took a little bit more design in the costume department to try to fix what's going around the kind of that hip area from the
Mhm.
belly button to like the crotch. That
I,
whole
I
it just looks weird.
I think it's just to show you how like messed up he is. Like he's not even human anymore. Like he used to be a man, but now he got turned into like this monster and shit. Like
Sure, I
yeah,
get
like a
it.
Frankenstein.
Yeah, just from a costume design standpoint, though, just it looks
Yeah.
weird. Like it looks. I don't know.
Hmm.
It just needs something to help kind of tie it together. But other than that, that's the smallest sneak peek I can possibly think of. But other than
Good.
that, I love Vecna, and some of his lines were great too.
Yeah, I like what he's talking to about Brenner. He's like, yeah, he's just like he was nothing but a man, a mediocre man.
Yeah, mediocre man. Yeah, he said, "I'm glad you're here. This will be beautiful." Yeah, I love it.
And I like the behind the scenes I showed you, like with the guy that plays one, he's doing the voice and stuff like that. Imagine just sitting in a chair for like 12 hours and getting all this prosthetics on you and stuff. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. 12 hours just to get all this shit on you.
And I'm glad they went like mostly practical, because like if they would have gone all CG with like fucking Vecna, it'd probably look goofy as hell.
Yeah, it
Like,
looked terrible.
yeah, it's just like the little things that they use to make it look more effective. Like what's it, like the nitroglycerin stuff, whatever, to
Hmm.
kind of give it that shine and stuff and gooey stuff. But yeah, I had to go with Vecna, and then what is this? And then
I
hold on,
think Eddie Munson would be two.
yeah,
My second
Eddie,
favorite character, Eric. I mean, he was just really carrying a lot of his scenes he was in. He was so endearing, and I like what I like about his character too is that that character could have easily been cliche. They could have
yeah,
easily made that character cliche. But what made him interesting was the fact that he was basically being framed for the murders of Vecna. So
hmm,
in society, he's a straight up outcast. But in this group, in our group, he's found purpose. He's found something worth living for, worth dying for.
hmm,
So I love how instead of him just being some cliche guy, he's troubled. He's a little bit altered by our story, and he's experiencing all of this for the first time. So he's kind of the fresh eyes on the Stranger Things phenomenon that Dustin and everybody else is really familiar with at this time. Where no, here's
yeah.
this other person who's experiencing it for the first time. So
And he's
he's
more
still
accepting
shocked.
of it. He's not like, dismissive of it or anything
Hmm.
like that. And somebody also mentioned he never got to meet 11 either, so that's kind of sad.
He never did get to meet 11. That is crazy. He never got to meet 11.
I
Damn,
would
I didn't even
say
catch that.
I would say the third one, like after kind of rewatching it, I like the baby face guy, Enzo. I like his
Enzo, yeah.
character. Yeah.
Yeah, I like his character
Argyle,
too.
he's just there to just be that pothead character and stuff, just like
Well, no,
comedic
he
relief.
was quintessential. Um,
Oh yeah,
yeah, because he
the
had the
pizza place.
pizza dough. Like he had the, and that's we talked about this. We talked about this. Some of these new characters and their characterizations, you actually could have gave them to our mainstay characters. So, for example, Eddie Munson could probably have been Will. You probably can take Will and you through the use of great writing through season 3 and season 4, turn him into Eddie Munson, the leader of the Hellfire Club, D&D club, badass, kind of growing up, plays guitar now. Like you could do that with him. And also, like Mike's character, you can have Mike and Jonathan smoking weed together and
Mm,
becoming friends that way.
yeah.
You could. I say that to say this. The reason why I go there is this because those characters got a lot of screen time. Eddie Munson and then Jonathan's homeboy. They got a lot
Hmm.
of screen time, and they got significant elements to the plot, like the Pizza Boy's ability to have the freezer and everything, and then Eddie standing up to the bats and everything. So they were not just side characters; they were very important to the plot. And
Hmm.
I say all
Yeah.
this to say, I'd rather see Mike and Will still be important to the plot too, and not them being passengers in their respective stories. That's the reason why I bring up the characterizations of Eddie Munson and some of these new characters. You could have applied them as far as growth directions for our mainstay characters. That's just one thing idea that's out there.
I feel you. Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. We'll see what they do with like Argyle and stuff like, because that's to say, like, if he dies, I mean, it'd be like whatever, but you know
Yeah,
but
he's a lovable character, but he
You know what's crazy though? Like thinking about the show, like what the original idea what the show was going to be, like they were going to do anthologies, like each season was just going to be a different storyline, but it ended up just turning into what it turned into.
Yeah, you can see that. And season two was the worst season to me because you can see that it had the least direction. You can see they were like, "Uh oh, like what do we do from here?" And a lot of the season felt like, okay, we really don't know what to do. So here's the mind flayer, here's Will. We're just throwing a bunch of shit together, but we don't really have a plan. But now you
Hmm.
see a plan coming together. You can see, years of writing and character positioning starting to come together. So that's why I love this season because it's almost a rebirth of Stranger Things. It's almost
Yeah,
a
the
reboot.
beginning of the end.
Yeah, yeah, like Vecna said, the beginning of the end. So they almost rebooted the season, rebooted the series rather,
and,
right here in front of our eyes.
and I feel like that's going to be the tagline for season 5. It's going to be like the beginning of the end.
That'll be dope, and I'll be
Yeah.
there.
So like to close things off, I got my rankings here. I also posted this on TikTok as well. I got episode 9 at 1. I got episode 7 at 2. Episode 4 at 3. Episode 8 at 4. Almost got confused right there just looking at episode 3 is at 5. Episode 1 is at 6. Episode 6 is at 7. Episode 2 is at 8. And episode 5 is at 9.
Mm.
I thought this was pretty fair, you
It's
know.
pretty fair. It's pretty much what's happening. I personally would probably switch uh episode 3 and episode 8. I would just swap them.
I'll
Swap.
put it up a little bit higher. Yeah,
Yeah, I would put 3 a little bit higher. Um,
that was a great episode.
because I didn't like one thing I didn't like about Papa is Papa's death. I didn't
What
like
the
how they
fuck?
switched. How yeah, it just seemed as if moments ago in the storyline, you know, 11 was arguing with Papa, and she came to the realization that he was the monster the entire time. He was bad, so forth and so on. And he kind of revealed himself to be that by putting a collar around her neck and letting her know,
Mhm.
hey, this isn't really a leave when you want. This is a prison, basically. Okay, whatever. That was a good emotional scene. I enjoyed that. So we finally got some truth of their relationship. But then here we go 20 minutes later, and he's dying, um, getting shot by a helicopter or whatever. He's dying. And now there's this emotional tone to 11 kind of looking at him and him looking at 11. And he's giving some final words and all this shit. And I'm like, I just don't feel the emotional connection between these two to really care about this
I feel
element
you.
of the scene. Like, was he an asshole or was he a good guy? Well, we just established 20 minutes ago that he was a fucking asshole. So
Yeah, like
why is he being honored in his fine dying breath now? I didn't
yeah,
understand.
he's definitely a bad person, but like it's that case where it's just like he thought what he was doing was right, and he became like almost obsessed with that. He came and I think there is also some truth to what one was saying, like where he just like and I feel like that could be one of the spinoffs, like because we don't really know much about Brenner's character and just like that, like like how did he get to that point, like in that series where we first meet him in like season 1 or some shit like that. So but yeah, I could definitely see that because they could have used a lot of screen time to kind of build that up more and stuff in like
Yeah,
in
it
previous seasons.
yeah, it was just awkwardly done in my opinion. It was just kind of awkward.
But they made up for it for the helicopter shit though. That shit
True, the
was
helicopter shit was so fucking dope. That was fucking fire as shit.
that
That
was
was
great.
probably my favorite like part of that episode. Well, clearly my favorite part of the episode.
I was
Um,
like, is that Jean Grey?
yeah, it was just so dope how she was doing it. And she put up that other hand and was like, like fuck it. So I loved
So
it.
let's just talk about expectations or what you want from the final season. I'll start off. Well, no, I'll let you go first. Let you go first.
Well, for me, I'm gonna need Stranger Things and the Duffer Brothers and Netflix to grow a pair of fucking balls. And don't be afraid. This is all I want. Don't be afraid to kill main characters in the progression of the story. Okay, everybody doesn't need a farewell, a slow motion song, dying in their beloved characters' hands, a fair goodbye. Some people can just freaking die based on the gravity of the situation that they find themselves in. And I would like to see Stranger Things, especially in the final season, especially with all of these of 16 to 17 characters that we know, like can name, with speaking roles. That's not even counting the sheriffs and the Wheeler mom and Wheeler dad and all these other characters. There's another 10 characters that are ancillary.
Mhm.
16 kind of main characters. Kill them off if the story demands and keep it moving. If somebody trips and fall and they get chased by bats, they're dead. Okay? They don't survive. They don't roll under anything. The bats don't stop attacking long enough for somebody to do something. If something goes wrong, they die. That's all I expect from season 5.
Mhm. True that. True that. What I expect, I just, I kind of share the same thing. Like, I want them to start killing people off, but just don't do it in a cheap way. Don't start doing it in a
Mm-hmm.
cheap way where it's just like, all right, you just kill Steve for no, like, just out of nowhere, and just kind of just like, for what kind of shit, like, those type of deaths.
Mm-hmm.
I would like it for the first season, or the first episode of the season, to kick off where Vecna goes after Hopper and just like off, like, just because that would be so crazy for Eleven to see that shit, just see it, like Hopper getting turned into a fucking lawn chair, like
Ooh.
that would be a good spark to keep her, like, I could see that happening probably later on in the season, for her to kind of get like a little boost, or like, what I'm saying, like some anime
Mm-hmm.
shit, seeing like how Goku saw Krillin get killed and stuff, and then
Right.
kind of like boosted up her power, boost up his powers, like do something like that. Um, I am curious to see what they're going to do with Max, because I think Max is going to be a big factor, and not only Max but also Will. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like I said, I feel like everything's coming full circle with his character, where
I
he's
need
been.
Will to be a little bit more prominent, a lot of more
Mhm.
prominent, like
How would you feel
very.
about him? How would you feel about him turning into a villain? Like, as far as just being like used as like a like Vector, one of Vector's like vessels.
I think we already did that. I think we'll be going back to season 2. It'll be almost like retcon in season 2 if he's
Hmm.
an actual villain. I would rather his mind flare connection ability be used to the group's advantage.
Hmm.
I thought they were going to do some of that this season, but I would like for his ability to connect with Vecna would give him the ability to fight Vecna, because we haven't seen Will fight yet. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And he has ability, whether that's, whatever plane they fight on, whatever's going on, I'm not for sure. But his connection to the mind flayer should give him an advantage that really nobody else has. And I would like to see that advantage exploited.
Hmm. And I want to see this cult of Vecna.
Oh
I want to see.
yeah, I want to
I
see some
want
coach shit.
to,
Oh yeah.
because he has monsters on the side, and he's probably definitely have people in the real life that just like are doing his bidding, or doing stuff behind the scenes that might get revealed and stuff like that. Because I still think the guidance counselor is kind of suspect, because the whole keychain thing, and like, and that's another, like, I know people hate time travel, you know what I'm saying, but I feel like that's probably going to be like I think they're going to do something like that, but probably in a better way. They're going to handle it in a better way, as far like they'll do it better than like Endgame or something like that.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, hopefully.
they'll have to tap into some type of time, like some type of
No,
time,
no, no.
not like,
I don't.
only
Mm-mm.
because like only because the clocks are a big like factor into this. Like, they're just not there just to, like,
I
or
disagree. I wouldn't
you know
want to see any. I wouldn't want to see any time travel. Me personally, I feel like time travel is a passe literary tool, and I think multiverse works better. In this case, We don't have to go full multiverse, a la Everything Everywhere or Doctor Strange,
Hmm.
but we are diving into different dimensions. And one of the dimensions is a carbon copy of our original dimension, just years in the past, from
Yeah,
83.
you say like it's something like nothing too crazy. Like, oh, we gotta go all the way back and like we'll see our past selves type shit. Like, no, I don't think like it'll just be like, all right, wherever they're at in the upside down, it's like probably like um a alternate Earth or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Or just what's gonna happen to the Earth eventually. You know, which is fascinating to just think about. But yeah, we're just going to probably just wait to see because I don't think I think the Duffer Brothers, I don't think they started writing anything yet, so they just know that there's going to be a time skip. So we'll see where they're going. You know, which is how do you feel about that? Like writers waiting till like a season's done,
I think they
or
should. I think they should. I think that's where Endgame messed up. The
mm,
fact that they filmed them back to back and they didn't really get to listen to the audience reaction and kind of hear what's going
okay,
on with their show. So I think they should have some plot points already kind of figured out as far as what they want to do. But listen to the people. Kind of listen to what people cheered, what people stayed away from. A lot of people are saying, okay, the Russian shit was kind of boring. Like a lot of people, not boring, but it was the least interesting element.
yeah,
Okay, that may tell them let's stay away from the Russian shit.
hmm,
People kind of like Eddie Munson's character. Okay, let's see if we can, work him back into the story, even no, even though he's dead. Let's still maybe have a surprise appearance in a memory or something of him. Like let's try to
hmm,
get him back out there.
or
So
a zombie Eddie. I'd be cool with a
I would
zombie
love
Eddie.
a zombie Eddie. That'd be so fucking dope. I think Eddie would like a zombie Eddie too. So that's dope. But I so listen to the people instead of just writing um whatever, because I think you can tell a better story once you kind of sit back and absorb how everything you put out there landed on your target audience.
Right, right. Yeah, so yeah, that's just pretty much been the discussion. Didn't want to go too long. If you've seen Stranger Things up until this point, let me know how y'all feel about it. Where would you rank these episodes? What are your thoughts for season 5, the final season? I'm looking forward to it, man. And just, I don't think we're gonna have to wait that long. I just don't think it's gonna be that long a wait. It's gonna feel that long because it's like it's already over, and a lot of people want them to go weekly. But I just, yeah, they already confirmed that they don't have any plans to put this out weekly. But splitting up the seasons, I think that's the best thing
That was
to
genius.
do.
And I think we'll
Yeah,
get a lot more of that. I think Netflix would take that model going into a lot
yeah.
of weekends and
They
stuff.
they did that with Ozark because they put out the first part in like January, and then they waited to like April to put out the second part. So yeah. I hope Cobra Kai does it. Can we get an hour? Can we get a movie finale for like fucking Cobra Kai? Like I would love that shit.
That'll be
Give
lit.
us give us like a 2 hour movie, maybe like an hour 45. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That'll
Give
be
us a new.
definitely lit.
You know what I'm saying? That'd be dope. Anything you want to plug?
Nah, man. Just follow me on YouTube. Follow me on One Black Guru or The Black Guru on YouTube.
Yep, yep. So with all that being said, I will check y'all out in episode 4. That will be out. I'm gonna try to get that out soon. You know what I'm saying? But this should be out Wednesday, Thursday, maybe Friday at the latest, but I'm looking at Wednesday or Thursday. So I appreciate people checking out the content. Got way more content coming. It's only half of the year. Still got a lot more shows to talk about, a lot more movies to talk about, a lot more discussions to be had. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.